Namaste. Today I'm going to read Volume 1, Book 2, Rudra Samhita, Part 2, Chapter 17, Sati granted the boon in the Shiva Puran. Hariom Tatsat. Brahma said, O sage, thus I have told you about the prayer to Shiva offered by all the devas, how Sati obtained a boon from Shiva. You shall now listen with respect. Then in the month of Asvina, September to October, Sati observed a fast on the 8th day of the bright half and worshipped Shiva with great devotion. When her Nanda rites were concluded on the 9th day, Navami, while she was engrossed in meditation, Shiva became visible to her. He was fair-complexioned, handsome in appearance. He had 5 faces and 3 eyes. The crescent moon adorned his forehead. He was in a joyous mood. He had 4 arms and his neck was blue in color. He was holding trident and an amulet, Brahma Kavacha, for protection. He was brilliant with dust. His head was calmly with the celestial river Ganga. He was gay in all parts of his body. He was the abode of great beauty. His face shone with the brilliance of 10 million moons. His lustre matched that of 10 million cupids. In every respect, his features were such as appeal to all women. On seeing Shiva directly in such a form, she bent her head from shyness and she knelt at his feet. Although he desired her to be his wife, he wished to bestow on her the fruit of her penance. Thus, he spoke to her in the state of her penance. Shiva said, O daughter of Daksha, of good rites, I am delighted by these rites you have observed. Choose a boon, I shall grant it, whatever it may be. Brahma said, although Shiva, the Lord of the universe, knew her desire, he said, choose a boon. It was because he desired to hear her speak. She too, who was highly bashful, could not speak out her mind, as it was covered up by bashfulness. On realizing that she was fully immersed in love on hearing Shiva's pleasing words, Shankara, who was favorably disposed to his devotees, was highly pleased. He repeatedly urged her, speak out the boon you wish to choose. Speak out the boon. Shiva, the eminent Lord, the goal of the good, was drawn to Sati by her devotion. Somehow suppressing her bashfulness when Sati spoke, as you please, give unto me, O bestower of boons, the desired boon on the bridegroom of my desire. Without any hindrance, the full emblem deity, Shiva, who is favorably disposed to his devotees, did not wait for the completion of her request and said, You be my wife. On hearing his words, embracing the fruits of her cherished desire, she kept silent. She was highly delighted on obtaining the boon, or bridegroom, stationed in her mind. She stood smiling sweetly before Shiva, who was full of love. She opened her inmost feelings through various subtle gestures that increased notions of love. Taking up these notions, gestures, and feelings, the flavor of love called Shringara entered their hearts. O celestial sage, by the advent of the flavor of love, a particular glow in the usual manner of worldly sports was manifest in them, as in the star Chaitra and the moon. In the presence of Shiva, whose body shone with the brilliance of crystal, Seti, who had the glossy brilliance of split corellium, shone like a line of cloud near the moon. The delighted daughter of Daksha, with her palms joined frequently, in reverence joyfully spoke to Shiva, who is favorably disposed to his devotees. Seti said, O great Lord of Devas, Lord of the universe, please take me with due marital rights in the presence of my father. Brahma said, on hearing these words of Seti, Shiva, favorably disposed to his devotees, glanced lovingly at her and said, So be it. The daughter of Daksha bowed to Shiva with devotion, sought and received his consent, and returned to her mother with a fascinating gaiety. Shiva returned to his hermitage on the ridges of the Himalayas and began meditations, though with difficulty, as he still felt the pangs of love and separation from Seti, the daughter of Daksha. Calming his mind somehow, O celestial sage, Shiva, the bull-emblemed deity, thought of me in the usual conventions of the world. Being thus thought of by the trident-bearing Shiva, I approached him immediately, prodded by Shiva's power of meditation. Accompanied by Saraswati, I reached that place on the Himalayan ridge where Shiva stayed, pining in the anguish of love for Seti. O celestial sage, seeing me in the company of Saraswati, Lord Shiva, who was entangled in the clutches of Seti's love, said thus. Shiva said, O Brahma, since in the matter of accepting a wife I showed a little selfishness, I have a feeling of possession in everything connected with self-interest. I have been appropriated by Seti, the daughter of Daksha, with devotion. Thanks to the sacred Nanda rites, I have given her a boon. O Brahma, the boon, O be my husband, was sought of me by her. Glad at heart in every respect, I had told her, be my wife. Then Seti, the daughter of Daksha, told me like this, O Lord of the universe, please accept me in the presence of my father. O Brahma, that too I granted her, as I was satisfied with her devotion. She returned to her mother's house, O Brahma, as I returned here. At my bidding you must approach Daksha. Speak to him so that he shall give his daughter in marriage to me at once. Exploit all means to cut short her days of separation. O adept in every law, console Daksha. Brahma said, saying thus, in my presence, Lord Shiva looked at Saraswati and evinced pangs of separation. Being thus commanded by him, I became contented and delighted. I said this to the Lord of worlds, who is favorably disposed to his devotees. O Lord Shiva, on considering what you say, this is certain, O bull-emblemed deity, that the chief self-interest of the Devas is my interest too. Daksha himself will offer you his daughter. I too shall mention your desire in his presence. After saying this to the great Lord, I went to Daksha's residence by a speedy flight. Narada said, O Brahma, of great fortune and intellect, O eloquent one, please tell me, when Sati returned to the house, what did Daksha do thereafter? Brahma said, having concluded the austerities and secured what she desired as a boon, Sati went home and made obeisance to her father and mother. Her girlfriends informed her mother and father about the acquisition of boon by their friend Sati from Lord Shiva, who was glad at her devotion. The parents who obtained the news through her friends were very glad and celebrated a great festival. The noble Daksha gave as much wealth to Brahmins as they desired. The noble Vrini gave similar gifts to the blind, the poor, and the needy. Vrini embraced her daughter on the head and delightfully praised her frequently. After some time had elapsed, Daksha, the foremost of those who knew Dharma, thought of the procedure of handing over his daughter to Shiva. The great Lord had come here himself out of his sheer delight, but he has gone back. How will he come again to woo my daughter? Can a person be sent to Shiva immediately? No, this is not proper. If he spurns the offer, it will be a fruitless torment. Or shall I worship the same bull emblem deity? He has already granted the boon to her that he, the Lord himself, shall be her husband. Even if he is delighted at my worship, as at my daughter's devotion, he may like everything to be done through some noble mediator. Even as Daksha was constantly thinking like this, I suddenly appeared before him along with Saraswati. On seeing me, Daksha, my son, paid due respects and stood waiting. He gave me a fitting seat to sit on. Daksha was worried with thoughts, but he became greatly delighted at my sight. He asked me the purpose of my visit. Daksha said, O Creator, Preceptor of the universe, be kind and tell me the purpose of your visit to me. O Creator of worlds, is your visit prompted by your love for your son or for any special tasks that you have come to my hermitage? I am delighted on seeing you, O excellent sage. Being asked thus by my son, Daksha, I spoke with a smile, thereby delighting Daksha, the lord of the subjects. O Daksha, listen, I shall tell you why I have come here. The wholesome benefit of your progeny is what I desire and what you must also desire. Your daughter has procreated Shiva, the Lord of the universe, and has secured a boon. The opportune moment for the same has arrived now. It is certainly for your daughter that I have been sent to you by Shiva. Listen attentively to your duty, conducive to your benefit. After granting the boon, Shiva returned, but ever since he had not had any mental peace due to separation from your daughter. Kama could not conquer Shiva, as he did not hit at any vulnerable point, although he tried it by means of his flower arrows. But he, without being hit by Kama's arrows, has now abandoned meditation on Atman and begun to think of Sati. He is as excited as any other ordinary man. He asks his attendants, where is Sati? As he suffers from the pang of separation, when they say no, he hears the words but soon forgets them and repeats the question, O son, what has been desired by me before, by you, by Kama and the sages, Marichi and others, has been achieved now. Shiva was procreated by your daughter. He now stays in the Himalayan mountains thinking about her and desirous of getting her in order to console her. Just as Shiva has been worshipped by her by performing different rites with sattvic feelings, so also Sati is being worshipped by him. Hence, O Daksha, offer immediately your daughter to Shiva, for whom she has been intended. Thereby you will get contentment and relief. Through Narada I shall bring him here. Give her to him for whom she has been intended. On hearing these words of mine, my son Daksha was highly delighted. He said delightfully, it is so, it is so. O sage, I too delightfully went to the place where Shiva was eagerly waiting. At my departure, Daksha, along with his wife and daughter, felt contented as if he had been filled with nectar. Footnotes. 264, which is on the five-faced god Shiva. 265 on the three-eyed Shiva. 266, Shiva is called the blue-necked Nilakanta or Setikanta from swallowing the poison produced at the churning of the ocean. 267, for the similarity of ideas of verbal expression, compare Kalidasa's Raghuvamsa. 268, Saraswati, the goddess of speech and learning, is the wife of Brahma. She is represented as of a graceful figure, white in color, wearing a slender crescent on her brow and sitting on a lotus. And here ends today's reading of the Shiva Puran. Om Prabhu Prananatham Vivam Veshwanatham Jagannathanatham Santapacham Om Kapura Karam Karanavatam Om Tuya Mata Chapita Tuya Tuya Bandusha Chasaka Tuya Vidya Dravinang Tumiva Tumiva Sarvam Mamadeva Devam Shanti Shanti Om Hari Om Tat Sat.